Alright, what is going on everyone? This is going to be a really quick how I Streamlabs. I've been asked a couple times how I Streamlabs. This is going to be a really quick video. Hopefully I won't have to do any editing. I can just completely upload it. So the first thing you have here on Streamlabs, there's a little bit of information you're going to want to get first before you just start streaming or setting up, really. You want to bring up a tab that is your internet speed test. You can just type in internet speed test into Google, run speed test. The first download doesn't matter. You want the upload. My internet is low average. It's not very good, but I do what I need to do. So this right here is your number. You're not going to go by what it is, the highest point. You're going to go by the average, whatever it ends here. So we'll wait for this to end. So 4.62. We're going to close that, and you want 75%. 75% of 4.62. It's going to give you a number right here, 3.46. You need to remember that number. Round it up to the nearest, so 3,500, let's say. So you have your Streamlabs downloaded. You can get it from just streamlabs.org, I believe. Streamlabs.com. You're going to download Streamlabs from. You just hit the download. That's pretty much it. Set it up. I highly recommend it. I wouldn't use anything else. Once you have your speed, which is 3,500 for us, it'll be different for you. And you open your Streamlabs, it's going to look similar to this. I've already been logged in and everything, and I have a couple things set up that we'll go through. But you're going to come down here to settings. You're going to open this tab. Now it's kind of a lot, but we'll go through each one at a time real quick. Nothing major. In your first general, if you want replays, automatically start replay buffer, and we'll talk about replays here in a little bit. I would recommend doing that. Just automatically start replay buffer when streaming. Source alignment, just make sure that's enabled, and snap. It just makes it easier to move things around. It looks a little bit cleaner as well. Stream, next tab. This is where you're going to log in, whether you Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. If you have Prime, you can stream to more than one thing. I don't really, doesn't matter to me. I like YouTube. Output, switch this to advanced. Now that number we got, 3,500. If yours upload speed after 75% is 5,000, put it here in bitrate. That's going to be your bitrate. Never go too high or it'll get really choppy, and if you go too low, it'll look really blocky per se. I use hardware NVEC. Unless you have a dedicated streaming PC, use hardware NVEC. It uses your video card. Anything I think after the 10 series will have a built-in encoder, so I would highly recommend using NVEC anyway. Software 264 will feed off of your processor, and you don't want that because that'll reduce frames. It's a bad time. Enforce streaming encoder service, you can check it, you can uncheck it. This, I leave it checked just in case I mess up something somewhere. It just automatically stabilizes your numbers. CBR is constant bitrate. Always have that for streaming. Keyframe, you're always going to have 2 for streaming. Now here, for your preset, your profile, look ahead and psycho visual, that's dependent on your GPU. If you have a weak GPU, put it on quality. If you have a really weak GPU, put it on performance. It is a noticeable difference. I keep mine on max quality. My GPU does okay, as long as I don't over stress my GPU. So don't go into games, max out the graphics, and then put this on max quality, because you're gonna have a bad time and you're gonna have a bad stream. And it'll show. It'll be really choppy, really jumpy. It'll freeze up, all that stuff. My profile, I always set it to high. You can put it on main as well. There's selections here. I can't change anything because I'm recording, but there's max quality, quality, performance and then high performance for a preset. I would say start with quality and go from there. Profile, keep it on either main or high. If your stream is choppy and you have it on quality, you can disable look ahead. That'll relieve some of the stress on your GPU. Psychovisual tuning. So basically look ahead just looks at frames ahead of time and go ahead and it'll pre-render them and send them out. That's up to you. It's not that noticeable of a difference. I just do it for fast motion games. Like if you're playing like a Fortnite or a Warzone or something that has a lot of motion, you want to have look ahead on. And the same thing with psychovisual, you want to have that on. If you can't have it on because you're losing frames or you're chopping, or down here you got the little red saying you're losing frames, then turn it off. It's always an adjustment. You'll find the right setting for you. Everybody's a little bit different. Like my settings are not going to be what your settings are. So yeah, profile high, look ahead on for me, and psycho on for me. I just leave those alone. Bitrate is key. Make sure you put in what your 75% is. To do an internet speed test, 75% of the number it comes out, that'll be your bitrate. Now, once you get your bitrate and you get this done, recording is kind of different. If you're going to record, we'll jump back into like the bitrate settings and stuff like that here in a minute. But for recording, make sure you have a path that you're going to record to that is separate from your current hard drive if you don't have room. I have mine going to my D drive because it's a little bit bigger. Recording format, always choose FLV. It comes out the same quality as MPEG, but it's a little bit smaller. It doesn't support multiple audio tracks, so that's up to you. If you want to have an audio track of the game as 1 and your microphone is 2, then you're going to want to go to MPEG. Hardware the same. I don't change the muxer settings at all. Now the rate control is a little bit different. You're going CQP. Not sure what the acronym is for. The CQ level automatically starts at 20. You can go up. If it's really choppy, go up to like 25. If it's okay and you can go down, go down. I mean, I've ran it at 15. I think I tried it at 12 once, and that was like my lowest I could go. Keyframe interval, this doesn't matter. You can leave it at 0 because YouTube's automatically going to set the keyframe when you upload it. Preset, same thing as before. You know, quality, performance, max performance, same thing. Profile high. I turned off look ahead because the last video I was recording I didn't need it, and it relieves a little bit on my video card. It's always an adjustment. Every time you go to do either a recording or a stream, realize what you're doing, make an adjustment. It's every time you do something. It's not a cookie cutter. It's not set it and forget it. You're always going to come in and do something. I would recommend always doing an internet speed test before every stream, because some days are different, you know, especially if you have kind of an unstable internet like I have, where one day I'll have, you know, a bit rate of 4500 and then the next day I'll have a bit rate of 3000. Always do that. Never just think you're going to set it and leave it alone. Same thing down here, max B frames, always keep those on 2. Same thing for streaming. Always keep those on 2. GPU. This is a selection if you have more than one GPU. You can set which GPU you want to use. I have an average PC. If you have an average PC with only one GPU, you're always going to leave it at 0. Audio. This is where you get a little strange. I always keep my audio on 96 bitrate because you're taking from your bitrate with audio. So you gotta think of a trade-off. Would you rather want to watch a choppy stream that sounds good, or a smooth stream that you don't notice the sound? I mean, think about it like that. Now, replay buffer. This is in the general. This is where we said automatically start replay buffer. So, replay buffer is just the maximum time. If you want your replay to be 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever, you're going to put it right here. Mine's 15, that's a good time. Okay, so let's move on to audio. Alright, so audio, this is where you kind of set up your audio, nothing special. Keep it on 44.1 unless you have a really high bit rate of at least, I don't know, 5,000, 6,000 or more. You can put it on 48. 44.1, you don't really notice the difference. That'll help out with your stream, your bit rate. You know, it'll save a little bit of bit rate. Set your desktop audio, which is whatever your main audio is. If you use Bluetooth headphones, set it to your Bluetooth. If you use, you know, whatever it may be. I have mine obviously to my speakers. You can set another audio device too. If you have a separate, like, let's say you're listening with Bluetooth, but you want to play sounds during your stream, you can do that here. You can set Bluetooth in this one for your headphones, and then definition, you know, high definition on your speakers, and you have the ability to play a sound while you're playing. I don't, so I leave it disabled. Microphone, wherever your microphone input is, mine's rear panel. Pretty simple. This is probably the easiest one. If you have a second mic or a device, third, set those up accordingly. Now video, now this is where it gets a little weird. I wouldn't recommend, actually I guess I should show you first. So let's look at that first. So here's a graph of bitrate and what you should be streaming at. Is this accurate? No. You can get away with a lot more. So recommended bit rates for SDR, HDR. See, is this the right one that I'm looking at? Bitrate, uploads. Okay, yeah. So if you want to stream at, this isn't the right one. Let me find the right one. Sorry, got a glitch here. Here we go. I think this, yeah, this is the right one. All right. So this is for YouTube. I stream in 720 depending on the game. If it's a high motion game, I do just 720 because of my video bitrate range is in that range. I'm at 3500. I'm almost at the peak of just plain 720p. If I'm playing a high motion game like Warzone, Fortnite, whatever the case may be. If I'm turning a lot, you know, running 7 Days to Die, I'll do in just 720p. If I'm playing stuff like Phasmophobia, which is a lot slower, you know, you're not turning as much, there's not as much going on. Among Us is good for this too. You can do 60 FPS because it's within that range. You know, I'm at the low end, but I'm still within it, you know. If your internet speed, this is where you're going to get your speed. If you have a video bitrate of 5,000 and you're okay after you take off your 75% and it comes out to 5,000, you can run 1080p. Do I recommend anybody run 1080p? No, I don't. Because this number, that's 9 megabytes per second. The person watching you, whether it be on their phone, on their computer, whatever the case may be, has to have a download speed of at least that amount or it'll get choppy. You have to think about the people watching you as well. I run it low because I have no choice. If I had the choice, I would run it in 1440 if I had the choice. You know what I mean? Like, it's based off of what your bitrate is. If your bitrate's 3500, stick to 720. If your bitrate is 6000, go 1080. Because most people's internet nowadays, it's going to be above 6 megabytes per second. If you're below 6 megabytes per second, then you shouldn't be watching YouTube anyway. You should be figuring out what's wrong with your internet. So you're going to take your number. My number is 35. So that puts me in the 720p range right here. sometimes in the 60 range, 60 FPS. You know, I'm at the low end, but I'm there. And I'm going to determine these 720, 1080, 1080, 60 FPS, and that's how I'm going to change this. Your base canvas resolution is what your output resolution is from your monitor. If you're playing a game in 1920 by 1080, set that here. If you're playing in 1440, change it here. Now your output is where what people are going to see on your stream. 720. It should drop down, but I'm recording so I can't. Drop down the tab, select 1280 by 720, and that's it. Now the downscale filter, this is dependent on your video card as well. You can go with 16 samples. This is kind of a test. I would say if your bitrate's like 4000, set it to 720 by 60. Go ahead and put it on 32 samples. Your FPS value, don't change this. Just change this bottom one. Set it to 60. See what it looks like. Looks like crap. If it's really jumpy, if it's hard to watch, come in here, sharpen it down to 16 samples. Run it again. Run it as a private video so only you can watch it. And make adjustments. Me, personally, I do 720, 32 samples, 48 FPS right here. You'll see an option for 48. I do 48. It shows on YouTube that it's 60 FPS, but it's not. It's only 48. Sometimes I do 30 if I'm running Warzone or Fortnite. I'll do 30 FPS just because I'm moving around so much. You know, the bitrate really can't keep up, and you get a lot of artifacting, a lot of blocking, stuff like that. So then your next thing you're going to do is hotkeys. Now this is very important. If you have a replay, go ahead and hotkey it to something. Mine is numpad 3. I can just reach over off my mouse and touch 3. I'm good. You know. Now our scenes. We have 2 scenes. I always run 2 scenes. We'll get into scenes right here in a second. My scene is my gameplay scene. I have a switch to scene hotkey. Numpad subtract. I can just reach over and hit that. It'll automatically switch that screen. I don't have to go over to my other monitor, or I don't have to alt tab. I don't have to do anything. I just hit that. I hit that, and that's it. I'm good. The same thing with my intro. If I'm going to take like 5, or I need to step away for a minute, or I got something I want to look at, I have a switch to scene as well. Multiply, which is right beside it. Make sure you write these down in the beginning, or you'll forget and you'll hit the wrong ones over and over again. I do it all the time. Just make sure you have a switch to scene hotkey. That way you can automatically change scenes without, you know, having to alt tab, because that looks annoying. People don't want to see that. People don't want to see you bringing up your Streamlabs to do something when you could just touch it on your keyboard, or wherever you may put it, your mouse, whatever. I wouldn't put it on your mouse, but I would put it somewhere on your keyboard, your keybind, that you never really touch. That's why numpad multiply and numpad subtract are kind of like my go-to. Now another thing you want to go ahead and keybind is your microphone. My speakers, I don't want to turn them on or off, but my microphone, maybe you have to cough. Maybe you have to sneeze. Maybe you need to shout across the room at somebody. Maybe it's your dog's barking. Whatever. Mute, add, unmute, decimal. Simple. You know, right there beside my mouse, it's all 3 right there together. If I want to mute my microphone, I hit add. If I want to unmute it, I hit decimal. Nobody notices. Very important you keybind those few things. Yeah, there's a ton of things you can keybind, but those are the very important ones. Your replay, your switch to scene, your switch to your game scene and your intro scene, and your microphone. Do those first. That's it. Advanced. Let's go in here. Process priority. You can change this to above normal if you're having problems. Some people recommend it above normal. I don't. It just feeds too much. I don't, you know. If your computer is a little bit slower, like if you're on a laptop, I would put it on above normal. That way it kind of prioritizes it. But keep it on normal, you're not going to notice a difference. Now video, this is where you can save some bitrate. A lot of bitrate, actually. Color format, you can do RGB, which is the fullest color range, which is also going to take from your bitrate. You can do 44, which is a little bit less, saves a little bit. 420, which saves a little bit more. NV12, if you have to go to NV12, then you have a major problem, and you need to figure out what it is. Never go to NV12, ever. I do 420. I could probably go 444. It's whatever. Color space, you can do 709 or 601. That's just how many colors are in a space on your screen. That also takes from bitrate and color range. You can do full or partial. Usually I thought it was on full, but I usually keep it on full. That saves a little bit of bitrate too. Force GPU is render device. This doesn't matter. This you can check it or leave it unchecked. I have it checked just cause. Now audio monitoring, free audio. This is what you're gonna monitor when you're recording and streaming. It's the same thing as your audio settings here. So you really don't have to mess with it that much. You can go ahead and put it on the right one. It doesn't really matter. Recording, file name format, the name of the file, the month, and the day, the hour, the minute, the second. You don't have to change this. Replay buffer, none of this matters. Stream delay. Now if you're playing a game and you want to add a delay, you'll do it here. You'll hit enable as many seconds as you want. 120, that's 2 minutes. That's up to you. But just remember that when you start streaming, that you have a stream delay. Because you'll sit there for 2 minutes and you won't say a word. Because to you in your mind, your stream hasn't started. So keep it disabled. I mean, if you're in a phase where you're getting stream sniped or whatever, then do something else, I guess. I don't know. But that's up to you. If you want to do this, that's up to you. I wouldn't, because it reduces your interaction with your chat. Then your chat has to wait 2 minutes before you respond. A lot of people will leave in those 2 minutes. Especially early on when you're first starting out. Let's say you have a stream delay of 2 minutes. Somebody comes in named Bob the Builder and he's like, hi. And then 2 minutes go by and you're like, hello. 90% of the time he's not going to be in there anymore because it was 2 minutes. 2 minutes is a long time to people to wait for a response. So I wouldn't do stream delay ever. Automatically reconnect, always keep that on. You can leave this alone. Network, low latency mode. If you're having an internet issue, you can turn it on. It reduces a little bit of delay, but I really wouldn't mess with it. Especially your change bit rate. If your bit rate's really low anyway, don't mess with that. Just leave it alone. Adjust your bit rate if you're dropping frames. Scenes or sources. These two I don't mess with. I don't understand them. Just leave them alone. Now, scene collections. If you have an overlay file that you want to download, you do it here. I don't, so it's whatever. Notifications. Keep notifications on. Detect skip frames. Keep that on. If you start skipping 25% of your frames, it'll tell you. And also lagged frames and drop frames. Keep those on. This is the only way you'll know you have a problem. If you turn these off, you're not going to know you have a problem. If you don't know you have a problem, then you'll never fix it, and people will leave. They won't like it. Appearance, change it to night. Don't put it on day, because look at that. That's just bleeding eyes right there. Put it on night. Be done with it. Scene item selection mode. This, I don't really mess with these. It's whatever. Remote control. If you have Streamlabs on your phone, do that. Okay. Connect your phone to it. You can control everything from your phone. Virtual webcam. If you want a Virtual webcam, I do not. It's whatever. Game overlay. This is where you can actually enable an overlay on your game. It's experimental. I don't use it. Never used it. Don't really care to. I have plenty of overlays. So that's all your settings. From your output, audio, video. The two big things you want to pay attention. Bitrate, video. If your bitrate is low, your bitrate's below 4000, video needs to be 720. Sorry, it is what it is. Just remember to run your test. Show that again. Internet speed test. Run speed test. Do this before you stream every day. It only takes a second. The quality improvement is drastic. If you don't do this and you don't know and you're having bad internet that day, maybe somebody's uploading something in your house and you don't know it. 4.63, 75% of 4.63 gives me 3.4, so I'm going to go 3.5, 3500. Just think megabytes is just 1000 kilobytes. So all you got to remember there. Now let's jump into the meat of this, which is going to be scenes and sources. Now on your left side is your scenes. I have my intro scene. I have my gameplay. Now there's two things you can do here. You can select them, and remember we keybound them. So I can hit subtract and change, and I can hit multiply and change. So the first thing you want to do is, if you have an actual video, like how I have here. This, everybody knows my channel. They've seen this. This is my intro. This is what I hit before every stream. This is what I hit at the end of every stream. Everyone knows that. If you don't know that, then you haven't been on the channel long enough, and I welcome you. Thanks for stopping by. So how to set that up? Because right now when I select it, it doesn't do anything. So you're going to click on this little gear. Well, first of all, just add two scenes. Hit add. Name one gameplay. Name one, intro. So click on your little gear. Edit scene transition. Add transition. You're going to do a stinger if you have an intro. If you do not have an intro, you can select any of these other ones. A fade, a swipe, slide, fade to color, whatever. Whatever you like. For me, I'm going to use a stinger because I have a video file. So, new transition. This is going to be the name of the transition. It's not going to appear as a scene. It's going to be, my intro to streams. Stinger type, video file. You hit browse. It's on my desktop. So let me go ahead and pull this up here. I have it on my other screen. I don't want you guys to see all the crap I have on my desktop. It's kind of embarrassing. Here's my desktop. I have it named intro. There we go. Transition point in time. None of this really matters. Audio, if you want to have, if you have an audio in it, you can have audio. It just depends, If you want to hear that you're actually doing your transition, you can do monitor and output, but it'll echo as well. So I'm going to hit done because that's my scene I want. And then now I'm going to select that here. Make sure I have a little selection. Done. And now when I switch scenes, it'll go through my intro. Very helpful. It really changed, my gaming, like a lot. It changed my channel. It was something so simple too. So we're gonna go back to our intro scene. Now every time you transition, it's gonna do that. So just remember that. So now we're here at our intro scene. We're gonna hide our display. we're going to show our background. For a background, let's say you're streaming, let's say you're streaming, I don't know, Fortnite. You're going to hit browse. Always have a folder that has all of your photos in them. I'm going to open my Fortnite one. I'm going to hit open and it's going to appear. I'm going to hit done. Now this is where you can adjust it. You can make it, if it's not fitting right, usually you have to adjust every one. Just make it fit right so it looks somewhat decent. That's all. So now your stream is not started yet. This is where you're gonna start. You're sitting here, you're getting ready to hit go live. You know, this is it. Now to add more things to this, let's say we want to add, I don't know, an alert box. Over here in sources, you're gonna hit, you're gonna hit the plus. Now your sources here, you can have an image, which is my background image. You can add a browser source, image slideshow, display capture, game capture, audio input like a microphone, stuff like that. Color source, you know, all these are different things. A video source, VLC source. Make sure you have VLC on your computer because VLC and Streamlabs work really good together. So what we're going to add is we're going to add an alert box, which is anytime anybody follows or subscribes, we're going to add source. Name it. We're going to name it new sub. Add source. It's going to open this window. Now in this window you have the option if you want to have a donation, you know, you can turn that on or off. Merchandise, if someone buys something of yours, you know, you can turn that on or off. Same thing, super chat, if somebody donates a super chat, blah blah blah, new member. But we're going to select subscriber. You click on the tab, you come over here to the right side. You have a message template. If someone subscribes, you can put, you know, you can keep it like that. It will say their name and then subscribed. Or you can put as or just. Wait, always move your mouse. There's something with Streamlabs and a mouse. If your mouse is over something, it automatically fills it. It's really strange. Let's put just. Like that. You can change your font style to whatever you want. I keep mine Gabriella on everything. I have a, it's just, I don't know, it's weird. It's hard to explain. Now click on media. This is where you can change. You can change your sound file. You have the option to drag and drop, but I haven't gotten that far yet. That's just kind of, it hasn't worked for me, to be honest. But stock files, sounds. It'll play
Streamlabs.
It'll play a sound.
Streamlabs.
Anything that says Prime, you have to pay for. But there's a lot to choose from. We'll play them. We won't play all of them, but we'll play some of them. And I'll untab from it, but we'll go back to it real quick. Subscribers. I had to turn us down just a little bit. Media, change media, sounds. I personally use the, where is it? I think it's new message 4. No. Nope, not that either. Oh, but there's a lot you can choose from. Like that. That is my donation. If I get a donation, that's what I hear. If I get a sub, I have one of them. I don't know where it is, but which one is it? Not that one. That one. That's my sub sound. Very common. A lot of people use that one. That's what I'm going to use. Done. I want to use a different media. Click on media, go to images, and you have all these to choose from. You can do, you know, I do the dancing taco. You can do Link. There's all different ones you can choose from. So we're going to, obviously, I'm going to keep the same thing. And done. And now what this is going to do, the animation, you can adjust how long it lasts, 8 seconds, how long the delay is between the text, what type of text shows. It's all just up to you. Then you can click done. And then it'll be a box here on your screen. You can make it bigger or smaller. I like mine being about average, and I put it up in the corner. Like that. Now, to know if it's working, down here on the bottom, test widget, subscriber. There you go. You can put it anywhere you want it. You can make it the whole screen if you want. I mean, it's completely up to you. However you want to do it. It's all up to you. You know, I like it a little bit clean, so I keep it up in the corner. I can read the name. Sometimes I can't read the name, so I might make it a little bit bigger. You can adjust the size of these as well. Like that. That way you can see it a little bit better. Alright, so now we have our scene with our new subs. So we're still sitting here at our intro scene. Now if we get a subscriber while we're sitting on our intro screen, we'll know. Now the next thing you might want to add for your intro scene is your chat box. Let's hit add, chat box, add source. You can leave the title, chat box. It's going to automatically generate text. This is not your chat. This is just automatically generated. Kind of gives you an example. Visual settings. Change your theme to whatever you want. You can do old school. You can do boxed. You can do chunky. I mean, however you want to do it. I use the Twitch even though I'm on YouTube just because I like the way it looks. Now here's where it gets a little funky. Always show messages, or for the past, that number right there is how many seconds go by before it automatically hides them. If you want your messages to always show, that's personal preference. I don't. I like a couple seconds to go by before it hides. Usually around like 15 to 20. So after 19 seconds, it's going to disappear. Font settings, of course, change how big or small you want it. The chatter had common chat bots. Let's say you have, like mine is Minecraft Steve. I can hide him. Hide command starting with exclamation point. That's up to you as well. Your source, this is just, I wouldn't mess with this. Just leave this alone. And that's pretty much that. Go ahead and hit done. It's going to be the same thing. Another little box. You're going to slide this down. Make it as big or as small as you want it. You know, just depending on you. So that's really the main thing I would put on my intro scene. You don't need a whole bunch of stuff. If you want more, add more. That's the very basics. That way I can keep up with this. This is when I'm not even playing a game. This is just when it's sitting. If my chat's going, you know, they'll be able to see it. If we get a sub, we'll be able to see it. There's a lot of things you can add. You can add the jar, which is a little jar that'll slowly fill up when you get like donations or stuff like that. But just remember, the more you add here, the more CPU it's going to take. Be mindful. Very mindful. Alright, so we're good here. This is how I usually keep my intro. Just like this. My intro scene. Like this is when I hit go live and it's sitting. I let it get like a warm-up period. This is how I have it. So let's say I'm going to switch over to gameplay. So remember we made our little intro. So we're going to go through that. Now, the most important thing here is add your sources. Same thing, add source. You're going to add a game capture, whatever your game may be. I'll leave it game capture. Now, you're going to have, what it's going to say is looking for a game to capture, mode auto. You can pull down this thing and go to specific window. and then select whichever window you want of the game. 99% of the time you can leave it on auto unless you're running an emulator, and then you're going to want to come here and select your emulator. I learned that the hard way. You don't really need to change any of these. Capture cursor, you always want your cursor to be visible. It'll be very confusing if nobody can see what you're actually doing. So yeah, then hit done, and then bam, you're ready to stream technically. But we're gonna add a couple more sources. Obviously, we're gonna re-add our alert box. Now the good thing about Streamlabs is if I hit alert box and I hit add source, it automatically has the last one I just did. I can hit add. There it is. It's already set up, ready to go. All I got to do is make an adjustment, move it, slide it. We're good. Test to make sure. There we go. We're going to add our chat box again, like this. Add source. It's already set because we just did it in our last one. We're going to slide it down. We're going to make it a little bit smaller. We're good. Now, I add a lot. I deleted all of mine to make this video, but I had about 12 sources. I had images for when I'm playing Among Us. Add new source, Among Us, to hide my screen. Add source. I'm going to browse for the file. My cover, which is this. Open. Everybody's seen this before if you played an hour Among Us. Click it to hide it, click it to unhide it. If I am starting a match, I will click that. It'll hide my screen. I'll unclick it when I know I'm not the imposter. If it is lower on the chain than my game capture, then it won't matter. See? Make sure it is higher on the priority list. Think of these as a priority list. One at the top has the highest priority. If your game capture is above everything, it'll hide everything. Your chat box, your new sub, your display. So if you're setting up stuff and you're like, wow, why can't I see any of this? Slide your game capture down. Always keep your game capture above your display capture as well. If you want to say you want to show your display but you want to hide your game, just click that. That's it. You can leave this off, and then if you do that, it'll be a black screen. But I always leave this display capture open, the open eye. And if I want to show something on my screen, I just click that. That's it. If I want to hide during Among Us, I click that. That's it. Just make sure you have it in order. I'm going to add a few more here. Let's get a couple more going. So let's look at a text. Or even better, let's look at, where is it? Event list? No. Yeah, let's do event list. Let's say you want to keep up with all your donations. Select donations, or you can do subscriptions as well. And it'll show you whoever subscribed recently. But donations is always a good one. You can change your visual as always. Your font as always. Your source, don't mess with your source. And then that's it. And you'll hit done. And it'll show up right here. You can make it bigger or smaller. If you want, if you want people to see your recent donations, and stuff like that, then you can do that there. I usually put this on my main screen, but, it's whatever. I'll remove it for now. Where is it? Remove. You can also right click on these and change stuff. You can right click on new sub and go to properties, and it'll reopen this. Now let's say you have a good basics going, you got what you want, everything looks good. There was one more I'm looking for and I can't remember what it is. Viewer count. That's the one. If you want to add a viewer count for Twitch or YouTube, add source, viewer count, add. It'll show you YouTube viewers or Twitch. That's your choice. That's, sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. but it's going to appear, you know, there. Just grab the little green box and slide it. If you hold control, it won't snap. You can just move it however you want to. You can move it like that, but remember your sub thing is there, so you might not want to put it there. You can snap it up to this top corner if that's what you want people to see. I'm going to hide it. I'm going to leave it here, but I'm going to hide it. The last thing I want to do is instant replay. Because remember in the very beginning of the video, we set up our instant replay buffer. Add source. Now here's where it's kind of weird. These settings are a little strange. Show nothing when playback ends. Keep that checked. And restart playback when source becomes active. That is kind of something you gotta uncheck, I've noticed, because if not, every time you switch scenes, it'll appear. Which is kind of like a bad thing. I think I have a replay already. Let's go back into gameplay and see if our replay shows up. It's kind of like a test. And see, it didn't show up, which is good. I don't even know where it is actually. And the weird thing about your instant replay, you can't actually see it. So restart and loop. Do that first. Switch your scene. Your replay should show up. Actually, it might not because I've deleted everything. So I'll have to readjust it. Yeah, it didn't show up. So anyway, when it shows up, let's say you save a replay, like I just did, and when it shows up, you can actually grab it and move it when it shows up. You can't do it right now. It won't let you. It's, I don't know. I guess it's a glitch. I don't know. Yeah. I don't recording how I stream, blah blah. Anyway, so this is pretty much what your basics are. We went over the settings. We set up 2 scenes with an intro. We have our chat box and display and stuff set up here. We have our gameplay, our viewer count, my Among Us cover as an example, a chat box, a new sub notification, a game capture, and a display capture. So the last thing you want to do is over here on the right side, in your mixer settings. Click on your little cogwheel. This is going to show you your volume settings now. I have mine turned down a little bit for my gameplay. You can monitor it over your headphones, which is going to be natural anyway. But your microphone, there's going to be a little bit of an echo, guys. I can have my microphone on while I play. I don't like it. But it's a good way to adjust it and do your settings. And if you look here, my microphone is in the red, but it's not here. So keep up with that and make sure you test it all the time. Like all the time. I always disable these because I'm not using them. I don't see the point in having them checked. That's how you monitor your microphone right here. So if you want to make an adjustment, let's say, did I just minimize that? I did. I did not want to minimize that. Alright. Come over here to your microphone. Click the little cogwheel down here. Right there. Filters. There's 3 things I would highly suggest you do to your microphone in the very beginning. Noise suppression. Gain. Noise gate is very, very important. And compressor is also very important. So let's disable our noise gate. So now my noise gate is disabled. But you don't hear anything. I have my monitor off. Let me turn my monitor on. You should be able to hear stuff. Okay, you don't. Alright, so that means it's set good. So now to adjust your audio, let me pull that back up. Do it here. Filters. Noise suppression. Do you hear that? Do you hear that little hum? I'm sure you guys hear that. If you can't hear it, turn it up and you'll hear it. So this is, you hear my keyboard? You want to adjust this down to where you don't hear that sound, that background hum. You can watch the bar here as well and adjust it. I usually keep mine around like 40. If you get a couple little spikes, don't worry about it. You just don't want to hear it when you turn your headset up, or your speakers for that matter. Like, you don't want to hear that sound, because then people watching you can hear it. So we're going to go to like 44, which is where I was at. Now, we're going to do noise gate next. So noise gate is your setting for when your microphone opens and closes. What does that mean? Like, if you talk, does it open so you can be heard? The best way to do this is to slide everything all the way down and hit your keyboard. Oh, wrong one. Hold on. I gotta do the bottom. Open. And see how it went away? So around like 47. 45. You can kind of hear it, but I'm hitting my keys pretty hard. Like, you hear it when I talk. So once you get your first number, you're open. Set it to 5 for close. 5 above the first number. So we open at 45, we close at 50. And that's how you set your noise gate. This way, if something's going on in your room, you're tapping on your desk, you know, sometimes you won't hear it. You heard it that time because I was tapping pretty hard. But if you're moving around, you know, you don't have an open mic all the time, and that's important. And that's pretty much that. Compressor is kind of, if you yell a lot, you know, like that, you can adjust your compressor to where you can yell more. I'm not sure which way. I think that way. No, maybe not. Check, 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 check. That one. The ratio. If you talk loud, and you yell, adjust that to not. You see how I can like yell really loud and you guys don't even hear it. It sounds messed up, but it is what it is. I would say like 3.5, and to put this on like 37, 38 maybe. 2 is pretty good. Yeah. You want to hit the red with your microphone. You don't want to like blast off into the red. You know what I mean? Like, that's an example. I don't normally yell. So yeah. Just play with it. That's all I can say. It's going to be different for everybody. It's going to be different for everyone's microphone. Let me mute my output because I'm getting confused. Alright, so it's going to be different for your microphone. Everybody's microphone is different. Everybody sounds different. Everybody talks a little bit different. that's pretty much the basic tutorial of Streamlabs I could give. I could probably turn up my thing a little bit more. See, I had mine set like perfect, and I haven't messed with it until just now. Gain, nope. Noise gate, nope. Compressor. I don't even know what it was on. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the video and figure out what it was on. It was like 27, 20, something like that. 23 maybe. Yeah, somewhere around there. I like mine to hit the red a little bit. And that's about it. That's what I would recommend your settings at. All this stuff right here, mute your instant replay. That way when your instant replay does appear, it doesn't double sound. Like it won't come over while you're streaming. You can mute the new sub. You can mute your chat box even though there's no sound in your chat box. And that's pretty much the basics of how to use Streamlabs. So yeah, good luck guys, really, honestly. I hope everybody has success. I really want everybody to succeed in streaming. This video carried on a lot longer than I thought it was going to, but that's okay. And I just want to thank everybody if you watched this far. Really, I want to thank everybody for the support we've gotten recently. I don't know how this video is going to perform, but that's okay. I wanted people to know. People have been asking, and here you go. This is it. This is what I Streamlabs right here. The key takeaways. I really want to stress: bitrate, video output, microphone. Very important. Very, very, very important. Output, bitrate, microphone. If your game is too loud, adjust it right here. If your microphone is too loud, you can adjust it right here as well. I usually don't, but you know, that's up to you. Just remember how to add sources. Sources are part of scenes. Just click on this, add whatever source you want. It's fairly simple. Once you kind of look at it, you know, and figure it out, browser source allows you to add web-based content such as web pages, widgets, and streaming video. Add source, it'll ask, you know, it'll ask for the web page. That's it. I mean, it's fairly simple. Most of this stuff is really, really easy. Just don't get overwhelmed. There is a lot going on. There is a lot to it. Just take it one step at a time, and it's very easy. And take notes. I highly recommend taking notes. If you log into a stream and you have your bitrate to 4,000, and you just write down everything you do before you stream, and then pay attention to your stream by going back and watching it, and make changes. Yeah, make change. Always improve every day. And with that being said, you know, I want to thank you guys for watching. Like the video if you haven't already. Sub to the channel if you're new. And come by our stream one time if you ever have any questions. We stream on a regular basis. And good luck.